I think it's time that I shared something personal to give you an idea of what most call God's plan, or your plan, or consciousness's plan, to reflect and project and on the screen show this perfect movie that has no flaws, no negativity, no fears, no death, no human states as separate from each other. So this story is a true story. And for the many sympathetic minds, they'll see it as through their knowledge of synchronicity, spirituality, they'll see it as, oh yeah, that's just what happened to me, and it's part of, and they will try and segment it into, say, it's part of a Reiki way, or a religious way, or a Hindu way, or a Christian way, or a Vedanta way. But there is only one way, you see, and that's God's way. And what is God, you see? God is everything, including you. So you must be part of this way. So this story, during some sort of awakening, which in our time-based world you can say takes, or does not end, but in its full capacity, the before it starts fading, for this body, 7 to 9 years. And this may have been in the second year. And there was no real connection to a mind, or a me, or a person. And there never is again, you see, until, it's called into action by this human ways, this human life, where you have to come forward and pretend that you are this human, this mind, simply to experience and interact a wonderful human life. So this may have been in the second year, but I found myself in this circle of people, and apparently I had volunteered for this counselling course, and I don't remember anything about why, where, how, because it's very vague in this recalling past mind. And we were in a circle. I don't know what we were achieving or doing, but it was fun. I was learning things about being this counsellor to help people. And the project was for today that we each had to stand up and announce our name and say what we felt about our name. And I watched these wonderful humans stand up and say, my name is John, and I love my name, and it comes from some sort of historical language, and it means this, and I love the letters, and all this, and everyone was speaking volumes about their name. And I was asked to stand up, and I stood up, and I couldn't find my name, you see. I simply couldn't find this name that was given to me in birth. And I found myself saying, well, I am. And everything stopped. Everything stopped. And everyone stood still, but their faces waiting for this name that this one could not find. And something in the mind says, no, come on, remember your name. What is your name? But there was no association, no attachment to anything, you see. There was no... And I found myself just standing, repeating, I am. And the leader of the course looked and said, your name is Graham. remember? And we met eyes. And in this meeting, this silence appeared. And it was consciousness. And through this teacher saying, your name is Graham, it kind of set that firework again. And this consciousness, it kind of laughed. Everything became still and quiet and silent, and everything disappeared, even the class disappeared. And I found myself nowhere, as no thing, surrounded by love and pure, tranquil peace. And in this whisper said, you must participate. As it laughed, you must participate. And quickly I was back. And something spoke inside about this name that this person had no recognition with, no attachment, no association. So something remembered, something spoke on behalf of the body that was standing and said, I am Graham. My name came from this. And I still don't remember what was said, but it was acceptable for the rest of the class, and I sat down, you see. And when I sat down, the teacher looked and said, it's good. Everything is good. From that moment on, this I am, that 2 years earlier I had experienced a going beyond it, this I am, this I am had returned, you see. So I was on my way back to this personage, to this human state. And it was approved by consciousness. Through this teacher, through this silence, through this whole deep and profound light moment. In time it could have lasted centuries, or in reality, in our human reality, 5-10 seconds. But everything took place in a sequential fashion after that. I continued with the course. I became that counsellor. This mind was back. It played the game, you see. I participated. It played the game. And it began to enjoy the game. And there was no valuation, no attachment and association to this decision-making, inquiring mind. Because to share that at that time, many would have said, you should try and go through this route or this path. This has some meaning from this book, from this period, from this faith, from this Upanishad or Zen or way. So it's very important when you awaken, when you the associations and attachments are also, even in their blissful state, even in the silence, even in that profound moment, is allowed to pass and continue. I know my name now, but I still can't find it, you see. A looking has to take place, an observing. And this observing is what we do every day with our body, with our eyes, with our ears. But many are observing with a mind, through a thought of finding something out, finding information, finding meaning, finding purpose, finding fame, glory, status, financial, physical, a need to bring things to the forefront quite early and unnatural to this. Because awakening and enlightenment is simply that you return to the life that is flowing. You become that ripple in that stream that flows down into the sea. You have no control over where you go. There's no arms and legs to guide you, no paddles, no rudder, no mind to say, I want to go this way or that way. You simply fall into this abyss of life, this beautiful consciousness that is taking you on a journey that is really, really special. When mind doesn't try and take over and change and improve and create, when it wants something in an unnatural time, when it desires to find a God that it has learned about through a conditioned understanding, a programmed way. So the true name is I Am. And anything else is just an illusion. But it's fun. It's a story. It's a CV that is meant to be put in front of you as a warning. Also as a guide. Also as that elevator forward. Because when you are meant to face up to yourself, your fear, and everything that is holding you into this suffering and depressive state, it shall be done in its own time. So even seeking for God, even seeking for enlightenment, and it's not your time, will cause suffering. But one day, you will see everything clearly. You will see everything without the eyes that have bound you. Not the eyes in the head, but this I am Graham. This name, this identity, this body that keeps you prisoner, keeps you bound for a moment until something says, this I wants to be free. And you watch this I disappear into the horizon, into the midst of the universal core. And you can call it back anytime you like. So through I am. And that's my name.